play with Mario Lemieux, really boost up the power play. You got it in Tanny. He's got a terrific shot. Things I like about him is his ability to tip in the front of the net, and particularly the way the Penguins like to play their power play with high up right at the blue line in front of the goaltender, shooting hard. Look for Tanny to be a very valuable man, those tip-ins of Coffey shots, and of course picking up Barry Peterson. Now here's a guy who was not playing a lot lately in Vancouver, so he's going to be a little rusty, but you got a guy who around the league, I think everybody recognizes Peterson as a character player. He's got offensive talent, and he's a very smart defensive player. Can win you a lot of face-offs as well.
The Capitals have some players returning to the lineup tonight and coming off some injuries, and that should bolster their forces.
It's got to help. You heard Brian Murray talk about the return of Neil Sheehy. You got a veteran player back there, and they've tried to get some more veterans back there with the re-addition of Scott Kleinendorf to the lineup. Sheehy certainly will add to that, add to the toughness element. And as we talked to Neil Sheehy in the pregame show, he wants to play against division rivals, wants to go against the Lemieux, the Coffeys, the Browns, people like that. And you need this type of guy to match up against those talented players. Of course, you also have Rob Murray coming back to the lineup tonight. We talk about Barry Peterson's value about winning faceoffs. Certainly is something that Rob Murray brings to this Washington team. Very smart, defensive-oriented center, help kill penalties. His return will be a very important one for the Capitals, particularly when they have to face that Penguin power play. And another guy we have to talk about, Ken Painter. Now, he's making his Capitals center debut. Has played 2 games for the Capitals since being called up for Baltimore. Signed as a free agent in the summer. Very steady defenseman. Doesn't do a lot of things flashy. Clears the puck out of his own end. Worries about his own end defensively. He's a man who doesn't gamble a lot, and that is what has impressed the Washington Capitals. Has played a few National Hockey League games previous to his joining the Capitals, but he still is a pretty young guy. So once again, even though the Capitals get Sheehy back, they've still got some young, unproven players in the lineup to try and cover up for the loss of Rod Langway and Scott Stevens.
On the surface, this game, Al, looks like a very highly charged, potent offense going against a team that is hurting defensively with so many injuries, with players still out like Scott Stevens and Rod Langway. Sheehy just getting back, some inexperienced players back on the blue line. What can Washington do to prevent a real rout?
Well, I think what they have to do is, make sure the first 10 minutes of the game is at least played even. You can't let the Penguins get ahead like they did last time, because I don't think the Capitals right now could come back on the Penguins. I don't think they're emotionally ready. But what Washington also has to do is get out there, strike quickly, get a lot of scoring chances. Obviously, bury them if you get them, but make the Penguins know that they're going to be in for a real struggle, and show this crowd, this sellout Capitol Center crowd, that the Capitals and every man out there is emotionally ready to play this game. The 6-game losing streak is one thing they've got to live with, but they can turn it all around tonight, and they've got to prove to everybody that they are going to be a factor, even without Stevens, even without Langway, and the best way to do it is get out there and hit and show this crowd they are hungry and ready to start winning hockey games again.
Okay, the Capitals and the Penguins all set to go here at the Capitol Center. Right now, let's turn things over to Capitol Center public address announcer Marv Brooks.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and join Glenn Cunningham in singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Here's Bill McCreary. He'll be refereeing tonight's game. The linesmen are Dan McCourt and Pat DiPuzzo. Now look at the starting goaltenders. Tom Barrasso gets the call for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's 4-7-2 in 15 games played this year. 60 goals against, no shutouts, a 4.53 average, and he'll be backed up by Wendell Young. For Washington, Don Beaupre now starts his 16th out of the last 17 games played for the Capitals. 15 wins, 16 losses, 3 ties, 113 goals against and 1 shutout, a 3.31 average. Bob Mason is the backup this evening. Dino Ciccarelli on the right wing, Ridley at center against Mario Lemieux, and the Capitals get the draw. Kelly Miller out there on the forward line for Washington. It's brought back, and Scott Kleinendorf flips it out to center ice. Mike Ridley picks it up there and sends it off the boards, and it's pushed back inside Pittsburgh territory. The Penguins clear it to center ice, and the Capitals' Kleinendorf dumps it in from center, and it goes over the glass and right back into the crowd. We'll have a face-off here with this game just 19 seconds old. Langway and Stevens still injured, as we mentioned. The other scratches are not because of injury. Randy Hillier with a broken thumb, Buskus with an ankle problem, and Jay Caulfield, an extra player tonight for Pittsburgh. Scott Kleinendorf back in action after playing the last 3 games of the Capitals' road trip. Has now played a total of 4 games on the season. He was in the lineup opening night and then injured that knee. Clears it back inside the Penguin zone, and the whistle blows now, and play is stopped offside. And Kelly Miller wearing the C tonight. He's the captain of the Capitals in the absence of Langway and in the absence of Stevens, who wore it after Langway was injured.
Well, you can bet Craig Patrick is telling his team, like most of the coaches who faced the Capitals recently, to try and get deep pressure on the Capitals defense. See if you can force them into some turnovers. See if you can force them into mistakes that they have been making because of all the scrambling going around to get a healthy defensive lineup. But this Pittsburgh team really, Mike, is not noted as being a very strong forechecking team like Vancouver, Boston, some of the teams the Capitals have played recently. Say the same thing about Winnipeg. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Penguins change their style up a little bit to try and take advantage of some Capital weaknesses they may feel.
Hunter throws a hard hit on Jim Johnson. He comes right back now with a push on to Steve Leach. The puck cleared to the right point. Bob Rouse keeps it in play. Zarley Zalapski goes to the corner. Hunter's right after him and nails him to the corner board. Now Corvo digs the puck loose. Tries to send it out from behind the net. It's cleared up the boards to the point. Calle Johansson checked in the corner. And Mark Recchi starts back for Pittsburgh. Here's Recchi ahead on the right wing for John Cullen. Cullen back to Recchi. Centers it. And Bork packs it in for an easy score. And you can hear the large number of Pittsburgh fans in this crowd as the Penguins take a lead 1-0 on a perfect pass play.
And Mike, isn't it just unbelievable the way things have been going for the Capitals? Calle Johansson trying to get something started is taken off his skates. The Penguins come out with a 3-on-2 and finish it off perfectly. Absolute perfect passing, easy tap-in goal. You've got Stephen Leach back trying to cover up because Johansson is out. Cullen gives it up, Recchi right over to Bork, and bang, 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 it's in on the very first scoring opportunity of the game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And once again, the Capitals have to come from behind. Johansson trying to get something started, trying to get something going, but once he was taken down, nobody is really back to be that third man, and the Penguins burn the Capitals, as so many teams have done lately with those odd man breaks.
Recchi and Cullen get the assists at 1:14 of the first period. John Tucker tries to center. It comes back to Pavanka. His quick shot is blocked wide by Barrasso. John Druce in the corner after the puck. Now Coffey plays it up the sideboards. Tucker hangs on, brings it back over to Druce. He tries to center, but Lemieux works it free. Mario Lemieux ahead with Troy Loney. Lemieux to the blue line. Still has the puck. Throws it into the corner. The puck is centered, and Beaupre tested right in front by Loney. Now Pavanka grabs the rebound. Flips to center ice to give the Capitals time to change lines.
You know, in that situation, Kevin Hatcher goes out high to challenge Lemieux. Lemieux pivots away from him. Coffey goes down deep. The Capitals again get caught, leaving a man all alone in front. This time, Beaupre comes up with a big save.
The goal is Phil Bourque's 12th of the season, coming at 1:14 from Recchi and Cullen. As Pittsburgh jumps out quickly in this game. Brian Murray telling Jeff Rimmer just prior to this contest that he wanted to see the Capitals put a strong first few minutes together and wanted Don Beaupre to make some big saves early. Right now, Pittsburgh has 2 shots on goal. In the first one, the scoring play by Bourque. Beaupre roadblocks behind the net, leaves it now, and Scott Kleinendorst edges it up the boards for Alan May. Out to center ice, and Rod Brown brings it back to Dahlquist, off the stick of Brown and back into the Washington zone. Here's Sheehy to go after it. Neil Sheehy eases a pass on to Murray. Rob Murray over to Courtnall. Now throws it in behind the net. Alan May back for it, but it's taken away by Airy and out to center ice. Sheehy dumps it back into the Pittsburgh zone. Behind Barrasso, Gilbert Delorme sets up. Alan May forechecks. Here's Sheehy to Courtnall to Alan May. Deeks in front. Can't get the shot underway. And it bounces past Kleinendorst and sails all the way into the Washington zone. Coffey back into his own end to pick it up now for Pittsburgh. Penguins lead 1-0 if you're just joining us on Phil Bourque's 12th goal of the season. Here's Mario Lemieux trying to get past Hatcher. One hands the puck. Centers it. Stevens misses. Another shot. Goes past Beaupre into the net. Tony Tanti makes it 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Everything the Capitals didn't want to happen has gone wrong for them early. Well, watch out, Tanny is let alone all the way in that slot. Now Mike Ridley has got him and goes past him. Again, the strength of Lemieux to stand up, turn away from Hatcher, fight off the check. One centering pass is fouled up, but you see how Tanny is just coming in behind the play. This is the problem the Capitals are going to get in. The Penguins keep dropping those defensemen down. That means that normally a forward is going to have to watch for one of those defensemen. Well, when they go down, the forward gets sucked down, and the defenseman comes into the front of the net. That forward in Tanny, in the Pittsburgh case, it's Tanny trailing the play, and he's left wide open.
Here comes Kevin Stevens back now around Johansson, stops in the corner. Tries to center, but Rouse is there and works it free to Kelly Miller. Out to Dino Ciccarelli. He's to center ice and throws it back inside the Pittsburgh zone. Barrasso plays it up the boards. It comes to the blue line, but not out. Kept in. And a backhand shot by Corvo. Stopped by Barrasso. He holds on. The Pittsburgh scoring play, Tanti's 15th of the season from Lemieux and Stevens at 3:29. And that gives the Pens a 2-0 lead.
With 10 seconds to go, it's all tied up.
Send in the secret weapon.
Can it be? Yes, it is! The legendary Wild Willie Went!
Wow. Willie Went. My brother, the greatest man to ever play the game.
With Wild Willie, will they win the case of Miller Lite and go to the Super Bowl?
Just give me the ball.
Capitals finally get their first shot on goal. Ivan Corvo picking up the puck at the blue line, wheeling in, backhander on Barrasso. It's loose, falls behind him, but he gets help from behind.
Ivan Corvo throws all the way to the point. Sheehy with a slap shot. And that's deflected wide. Hunter waving his stick at Jim Johnson in front of the net. Back comes a 2-on-1 Pittsburgh break. Here's Bourque. Loses control, drops it off. Johnson to the side of the net. Cummins alone. He shoots. And it's stopped by Beaupre. The rebound cleared behind the net. Here's Bourque playing it off the glass and sends it all the way down the ice and on into the Penguin zone.
Mike, again, the Caps defenseman, this time Scott Kleinendorst, is just trying to keep the puck in the zone. The Penguins pinch right by him. They've got a 2-on-1, and it takes a fabulous Don Beaupre save to keep the Caps in this game.
Here's Courtnall in with Murray. Fires, and a save made. Barrasso came up with a big glove stop there to rob Jeff Courtnall.
Well, if this ends up being racehorse hockey, end-to-end hockey, the Washington Capitals will not win this hockey game. Caps get a 2-on-1 here. They're going to get their scoring opportunities. No question, Pittsburgh gives up a ton of chances and plenty of goals. But here comes that 2-on-1. And look, you've got a situation. Cullen is all alone in front. Two excellent plays by Don Beaupre to stop it initially. Then when it's squirted underneath him, reach back and grab it with the glove.
get the face-off. A quick drive by Courtnall goes wide of the net. Now Coffey has it back of the goal. Coffey from his own end. Leads to center ice for Mario Lemieux. Lemieux, a right wing pass is picked off for Dineen, and now taken by Courtnall. Dineen grabs it back and feeds it over to Loney. His shot blocked by Hatcher. Here's Courtnall chasing it. Hatcher in to throw a hit. Bumps Lemieux right in the chest, knocking him off the puck, and Alan May sends it all the way down the ice. The icing's waved off. Dineen's back to get it. Up the boards for Loney. He and Tucker collide. Now Lemieux challenges, but Hatcher takes over and throws it off the boards for Courtnall. Back in Pittsburgh ice. Courtnall rubbed off the puck. Here comes Loney with Lemieux. Johansson struggles to get back. Rouse is in there. Here's a shot. Hit the post. A shot from the right wing rings off the goal post. And the Capitals come back on the attack. Courtnall has it taken away. Here's Lemieux to the line with Loney. Mario Lemieux on his backhand, pushed all the way back to the point. And now Johansson goes to get it. Calle Johansson, right wing pass for John Druce. Druce into the corner, and Dahlquist takes over now for Pittsburgh. Bob Rouse steals and fires, and a kick save made by Barrasso. And the rebound cleared past Ciccarelli all the way out to center ice. Scott Kleinendorf dumps it in. Rob Brown on the right wing starts out and stick handles to center ice. Has it taken away by Pavanka. Bob Airy backtracks to his own line, throws to Delorme. He bumps Pavanka. And now the puck comes to Rob Brown. Brown to center ice, gets across the blue line of Washington. Into the corner for Rob Brown on his backhand, drops it off, and a shot by Peterson goes wide. Barry Peterson chases it back out to center ice. Peterson, the former Boston Bruin, drops it for Dahlquist. He shoots it into the corner. And here's Kleinendorf to start out. Up to John Druce. Plays it back inside the Pittsburgh zone. Delorme back to take it. Off the boards to center ice for Brown. Chased by Ciccarelli at the blue line, but Pittsburgh still has control. 12 and a half minutes to play. First period. Penguins have a 2-0 lead over the Capitals. Lead pass out to center ice. Here's Wrigley, left side. Kelly Miller to the corner. Off Lemieux's stick and in behind the goal. And Mario Lemieux starts out, springs a pass ahead to Paul Coffey. Coffey skates back to his own line. Inside the Washington zone. Over to Lemieux, but he fires wide. Poke check to the point. Kent Painter back on defense for Washington. Brings to center. And throws it inside the Pittsburgh zone. Caps complete a line change. The puck cleared all the way down by the Penguins. It'll be icing as Bob Rouse is in to take it. With 11:38 to go here in the first period, the Penguins have built a 2-0 lead over the Washington Capitals.
The Subaru Legacy L and the Toyota Camry DLX. Which one is the bigger value? Well, the Subaru Legacy has a lot of standard features the competition doesn't, like more horsepower, power windows and door locks, more rear legroom, and 4-wheel disc brakes. So, comparing the Subaru Legacy and the Camry, it's obvious. The Camry's not even in the picture. The new Subaru Legacy from about $12,500.
Well, that assist on the Tony Tandy goal extends Mario Lemieux's scoring streak to 33 games. In that time, he's had 26 goals and 44 assists in 33 games. And there's the shot that rattles off the post by Don Beaupre, as this easily could be a 4 or 5-0 lead for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Lemieux being double shifted by Craig Patrick. Patrick dressing 7 defensemen and putting Lemieux out there on 2 different lines at center ice.
Here's Mark Recchi to the blue line, kept in there by Dale Hunter. Hunter brings it over to Corriveau. Corriveau back at the blue line, drops it off for Hunter. Flips to the side of the net, and Barrasso's there to make the grab with his glove.
Pretty pretty strong hustling work by Ivan Corvo early in this game, getting involved, making some plays, taking some hits, driving to the front where Tom Barrasso's got to deal with them. Barrasso's had some injuries again this year, but talking to Craig Patrick before the game, said everything is fine with him, and he certainly has got to be the main man for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wendell Young did such a terrific job while Barrasso was out, and that's got to give the Penguins a good feeling to know that they can count on Wendell Young if injuries strike again to Tom Barrasso, but there's no question he has got to be the #1 man for the Penguins the rest of the season.
Penguins 2, Capitals nothing. 11:05 to play here in the first period at the Capitol Center. Mike Fornes with Al Koken and Jeff Rimmer here on Home Team Sports. The puck cleared back inside the Washington zone, and Neil Sheehy is back to get it. Up the boards, but Loney picks that off. He's checked by Kleinendorf. Now it's shifted ahead to Mike Ridley. Ridley across the blue line with Alan May. On his backhand, Ridley cuts to the net and is pushed to the corner. Lemieux to try and dig it out there. Now Courtnall sends right to the side of the goal. Barrasso plays it up the boards. And Loney starts back. Troy Loney. Dropped just inside the blue line. Sheehy goes back to get the puck. Over to Dahlquist. Checked by Ridley. Sheehy pulls alongside Loney. Ties him up. And now Ridley reaches for it and takes the puck away in the corner. Alan May. Drop pass inside the line for Courtnall. Off the sideboards, and it's intercepted. And the Penguins come back. Peterson rushes to center ice with Bob Airy. Airy taken out at the blue line. Puck cleared off the glass and all the way back into Pittsburgh ice. Here's Paul Coffey to wheel around. Starts to center. Bob Airy across the line. Cicerelli works it free and finds John Tucker, but now a cross-checking penalty call coming from referee Bill McCreary. And headed to the box is Kevin Hatcher. That'll give Pittsburgh the game's first power play. Time of the call, 10:26 of period 1. Here's Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. We'll be keeping an eye on a couple of games underway on our Washington Post hockey scoreboard. One game, in fact, now at the Meadowlands in the first period. The Montreal Canadiens leading the Patrick Division leading Devils by 1. Again, that's the first period score, so some good news here from the Patrick Division thus far. Let's go back upstairs now to Mike and Al.
Kevin Hatcher selected to the All-Star team, will represent the Washington Capitals. He gets the game's first penalty, the cross-checking call at 10:26, and Mike Lemieux has been out there with two different lines with his regular line mates now of Stevens and Tanti, also out there with Gillen and Loney. Peterson playing with Airy and Brown, and Cullen with Recchi and Bork. And there you see the cross-check from Hatcher gets the penalty. So keep an eye on Tony Tanti in the front of the net, and watch how the Penguins will rotate Paul Coffey into the middle on that blue line, try and get him set up for that shot, and now they feel they've got a real great weapon in Tony Tanti for both tip-ins and rebound goals. And of course, with Lemieux working down low off that wing to set up people for either the one-timer or to get it back to the point, this Penguin team now is really loaded, because I think Tanti will certainly be a more consistent scorer on the power play than Andrew McBain proved to be.
Pittsburgh comes back on the attack. Stevens drops it off for Tanti at the blue line. Zalapski over to Tanti. Now into the corner. Bob Rouse ties up there. The puck behind the net to Lemieux. Lemieux centers, and it's back out to Zalapski. His shot blocked. Miller can't get to it. Tanti keeps it going. Back to Lemieux behind the goal. Wraps it around in front, and Stevens is pushed out of there by Kleinendorf. Back to the point for Coffey. Here's a drive wide off the glass from Zalapski, and the puck skitters all the way back inside the Pittsburgh zone. 48 seconds left on the Pittsburgh power play. Hatcher in the box for cross-checking. Short-handed, the Capitals' Calle Johansson finds an opening and clears the puck the length of the ice.
Well, so far, Lemieux only 5 power play goals. Rob Brown 3, and those were the main men last year. You can only see improvement for this Pittsburgh extra man unit.
Lemieux's pass led ahead now for Cullen. Back to Mario Lemieux in the corner. He puts it right in front, and it's taken away by Pavelka, but cleared only as far as center. Paul Coffey, right side, Loney. Rather Brown across the line. Poke check by Povanka. Taken back by Peterson. Back to Coffey at the point. Into the corner, and Johansson is able to send to the blue line, but no further. Penalty's over. Hatcher's out of the box. Here's a shot by Lemieux, and a goal. Mario Lemieux picks the short side, beating Beaupre on the stick side of the net. And Pittsburgh scores an even strength goal to make it 3-0.
Well, this looked like one Don Beaupre could have had. It's certainly some nice passing, and Lemieux gets the shot off rather quickly, but it really looked like Don Beaupre was in a position where he could have gotten that, particularly when it's a short side goal. Capitals had just come moments away from killing off that, or they just killed that penalty off, and moments away from picking up a huge emotional lift. But the Penguins make one more play, and that's going to be all for Don Beaupre. I think that certainly cost him, but Brian Murray's also got to try and fire up his team in some way possible, and a goalie change can do that as well. But Beaupre didn't look ready and sharp on that one, Mike.
Bob Mason comes in sporting a record of 3-4-1 on the season, 3.55 goals against average, 28 goals against in 10 games played. And Mason came on in relief during this recent road trip after Beaupre found himself behind in a game, and it happens here again tonight. 3-0 in the first period as Bob Mason takes over in the net. Rob Brown gets the lone assist on Mario Lemieux's 32nd goal of the season at 12:31 of period 1. Here's Loney in the corner. Throws it behind the goal and up the sideboards now for Bob Airy. He flips it over the glass and into the penalty box, just about striking penalty box attendant Elliot Knight, who got out of the way quickly. 3-0 Penguins with 7 minutes to go. We'll be right back.
Once again, a game here at the Capitol Center against the Pittsburgh Penguins where the Capitals have a huge mountain to climb. Down 3-0. They're playing flat, seemingly lethargic hockey except in spurts, very disorganized, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are razor sharp. They're jumping up in the play, they're flying, they're completing their scoring chances, making great plays. Just a total domination right now by Pittsburgh, and this Capital team demoralized to begin with and hoping to get some sort of good start, and it's just been a complete nightmare for 13 minutes.
Here comes Cullen to start back now for the Penguins. He gives to Recchi just inside the blue line, and Kleinendorf bottles him up. Leach overskates the puck, but it comes to center. And quickly, the Penguins drive it right back in. Dineen putting it in the corner. Neil Sheehy has the puck behind the Washington goal. Leads a quick pass out to Hunter. Out to center ice now for Kleinendorf, and taken away by Cullen. Back into Washington territory. Hunter behind the goal. Bob Mason, the new Washington goalkeeper, as Beaupre has been pulled. Here's Zalapski up ahead for Recchi. Drop pass for Cullen. Winds, fakes, fires. Pad save by Mason. Big play there on the first shot Bob Mason faces, and he comes up with a pad save. Now Bork takes over at center ice. Drives a long one, put down by Mason and cleared out of the zone to center ice. This is Kevin Hatcher. Lugs it back inside the Pittsburgh zone. Jim Kite pushed off the puck by Kelly Miller. And now Rob Murray takes over, centers, and nobody there to grab that pass. Puck cleared back into the corner. Here's Coffey with it behind the net. Rob Murray skates back to the Washington bench for a new stick. Kevin Stevens. Stick handles across the Washington blue line. Hatcher cross-checks into the sideboard. Johansson back to get it. Johansson. Skates to center. Back into the Pittsburgh zone. Here comes Lemieux. Mario Lemieux into Washington ice. Centers it. Stevens gets off a shot. Johansson got a piece of that. And takes the puck to the corner. Penguins start a line change. Here's Bob Rouse to center ice. Gets across the line. Throws into the corner, and Pavanka back to get it. Rob Brown pushed out of the way, and Coffey comes back to help him, and Brown takes the puck. Up to Paul Coffey. Coffey across the Washington line. Charges on Johansson. Can't get a shot off, and Bob Mason way over to cover it up. And hangs on now to stop play with 4:36 to play here in the first period.
You see the area right now where the Penguins are dominating this game is in the neutral zone, except for one occasion. They have had that third man back. Their defense has been able to stand up here for a change. The Capitals do a good job. They have everybody covered. Bob Rouse taking Airy out of the play, not allowing Airy to handle that pass. But that really is one of the few times all night that the Penguins haven't come into the zone and had at least one man open. That time, at least, the Caps get that third man back, and you can see the forward helping out there to cover up all three Pittsburgh players. So often, the Penguins have created the turnovers, just started flying through the center ice area, and by the time they get to the Capital zone, somebody is wide open, and the Penguins' excellent passing has usually found that man.
Bob Airy checked in the corner now by Bob Rouse. The puck cleared out to Michael Pavanka. He charges ahead to center ice. Gets across the blue line. Pavanka coming on and can't get it centered. Brown takes over. Gilbert Delorme roughing up Pavanka behind the play. The Penguins all crisscrossing and leave the puck stranded. It's grabbed, and here's John Tucker across the blue line. Dahlquist takes over for the Penguins. Pushes it right into the back of the referee, Bill McCreary. Play continues. The puck sent rink wide. Sheehy over to get it. Delorme throws it back into Washington ice. Mason sends it up the sideboards to the point. Zalapsky a shot. Mason helps that along with his skate. Now here's a drive wide by Dineen. Zalapsky starts to center. Has to get help now as Alan May held up by Barrasso in front of the net, and a shot by Courtnall right on. But the save made. Now the goaltender Barrasso needs some help, and Dineen comes in to keep Alan May out of there, but it was Barrasso who nearly found himself giving up a goal while holding on to Alan May.
Well, how does Tom Barrasso, Mike, get away with wrapping his arms around Alan May? Without a penalty call, apparently. We'll see what the calls will be when we come back. The Penguins on top, 3-0.
Why pay high Washington area prices? Visit All-Star Chevrolet Geo in Elk Ridge, where 1990 Geo Metro is just $124 a month. A 1990 Cavalier, just $120 a month. A 1990 Beretta, just $156 a month. A 90 S10 pickup with air conditioning is just $139 a month. All-Star Chevrolet Geo, less than 20 minutes up 95 off the Washington Beltway.
Well, apparently no penalty calls out of this. Now watch, Alan May certainly could have run Tom Barrasso, but he puts on the brakes, as you can see right there. But watch Barrasso. Is that not holding? Is that not preventing Alan May from doing something? I guess Bill McCreary saying, well, the shot got on anyway. And then Barrasso coming out for a bump. Dineen coming out for a little shot at May. Bill McCreary deciding not to make any penalty calls on any of that.
But at least the Penguins are willing to protect their goaltender, Al. That's more protection than I've seen them give Lemieux this season. They don't help Mario Lemieux out the same way that the Kings or the Edmonton Oilers take care of Wayne Gretzky. I don't feel.
No, I think you're right. And it's a situation, I know that a guy like Jim Kite, Jay Caulfield, these are the guys who are going to have to do that. And one of the things, though, with Lemieux, I guess it's he's so big that he can take so much pounding where it doesn't seem like you ever see Gretzky really get hit.
There's an icing call, and now more problems with Alan May right in the middle of it there, arguing with the Penguins. Pat DiPuzzo signaling that the icing call came about because of the puck striking the shin pad of one of the players. Now Neil Sheehy has something to say to Troy Loney and is continuing the argument with Bill McCreary.
Well, this will get some penalties, I have a feeling, and the
players will be lucky if it's only in unsportsmanlike conduct calls, because I think we could be in misconduct territory, and if it's...
Well, McCreary has had enough of Dineen and May, and they are just now both being sent to the penalty box.
Well, if that's a penalty, it makes you wonder why what happened a little earlier wasn't. Does it send the players a mixed signal?
Here come the calls.
Number 5, for Dineen. Washington, number 16, Alan May. They each get 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct at 16:53.
The race for the puck, May trying to prevent Dineen from getting it to ice it. You can see Dineen getting the stick lifted, but is able to come up with it, and then they both turn around. These were the same 2 guys who had things a moment ago, and now that qualifies as unsportsmanlike conduct with less bumping and pushing than what happened earlier with the Tom Barrasso involved altercation.
Caps get the draw, and here's Bob Rouse to take it in behind his own net and sets up from there. 3 minutes to go. Pittsburgh on top 3-0. We're in period 1. Rouse flips it back into Penguin ice. It's caught in the skates of Barrasso. Can't find it, and now Hunter finally works it loose. Chases the puck to the corner. Hunter throws a big, heavy hit on Phil Bourque. Elbowed him right in the back of the head. And he's going to get a roughing call. Hunter has been playing a very enthusiastic period so far. The main object of his attention has been Jim Johnson. But here he gets called for roughing at 17:18 of the first period.
Well, the blast from behind, and I think this entire line has just tried to get out there, and from the very early moments of the game, tried to pick up the tempo. Leach, Hunter, and Corvo. Hunter gets nailed there, and the Capitals have to kill off the second Penguin power play of the night. They did it the first time, but just seconds after Hatcher came out of the box, Lemieux scored to send Don Beaupre to the bench. Only 1 shot on goal in that entire Pittsburgh power play, so the Cap penalty killers were very effective with a extremely potent Pittsburgh team facing it.
Here's Coffey to start out from behind the net, as Hunter's penalty has given Pittsburgh a man advantage. Lemieux clears it all the way down the ice. It goes wide of the Washington net. Kleinendorf back to collide, and the puck's still loose. Now Kelly Miller comes in, throws a hit on Tony Tanti. I think Tanti's going to be a little surprised through the first 2 weeks, let's say, of his first tour through the Patrick division. He's not used to playing that type of hockey out in the Smythe division, and really wasn't in Chicago long enough to get a real true taste of the North.
Now he'll find the going a little rougher along the boards and in the corners in this division. Barry Peterson, that's his best years as a Boston Bruin, so I think he's well aware of what it's like to play hockey in the East Coast and in the Wales Conference. Of course, I tell you, I don't envy, I think, the job that Bill McCurry has tonight too, Mike. He's got to figure right now, the way the Capitals have been playing, and they're down 3-0, that they are just going to go out there and now just take runs. If you get something going, shake this crowd up, shake this team up, do something. And he's going to have to be a very, very busy man this evening, I really feel, particularly if this Penguin domination continues. The frustrations of the Capitals will come out.
Mason elects to hang on in a crowd while Tanti finds himself underneath Hatcher, and now some pushing starts there. Kleinendorf steps in, so does Rob Murray. The fallen Penguin is Kevin Stevens.
That was simply because Tanti got a stick near Bob Mason as he was covering up the puck.
Caps move on to the island tomorrow night to face the New York Islanders. And then Tuesday evening we'll be back here against the New Jersey Devils. And the Islanders rising in the Patrick Division standings. The Devils right now in first place. Pittsburgh just 1 point ahead of the Capitals. The Penguins with 41, Washington with 40. Everybody feels they've still got a chance.
Oh, and they do. The real saving grace of the Capital miseries is the fact that the Flyers and Rangers have had almost the same sort of trouble over the last 10 games. In fact, a worse 10-game record than the Caps.
Kelly Miller's shot is blocked, and Kevin Stevens is back to get the puck. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first period. 1:08 left in Hunter's penalty. Coffey into the Washington zone. Back to the point for Zalapski. Now over to Paul Coffey. Pass to Lemieux on the right wing. Back to Zalapski. Right side for Lemieux. Tanti into the corner, now stolen by Kelly Miller. Miller takes over and clears it all the way down.
Great play by Rob Murray. You got to prevent that pass coming from the point or that shot, and Murray laid down to stop the Zalapski attempt.
Here's Zalapski across the line, back to Mario Lemieux. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Lemieux to the point. Zalapski to Lemieux. We're in the final minute of play in the period. Here's a shot. Save Mason. Rebound cleared by Sheehy. Caps take the pressure off. Only 5 seconds to go in the Hunter penalty. You see the time remaining in the period. Hunter's out of the box. Washington is again at full strength. Here's Pavanka. Now to Druce. Druce into the corner. Held up on the play by Gilbert Delorme. A loose puck, a shot, a save, and it's smothered by Barrasso in the crease.
Boy, the Caps just cannot buy a break. Michael Pavanka shaking his head. He's had a number of pucks on his stick. Couldn't get it buried. Druce digging out from the corner. Hunter digging in front. Pavanka digging in front. The Capitals needed some sort of break, some sort of lift with 28 seconds left to go. If they could have gotten on the board, they could have got themselves a much better feeling heading into the locker room. And think back to the last time as they fell behind the Penguins and were able to come back with a late goal and then roared away. As the start of the second period, it was all Capitals.
Down to 28 seconds left to go here in the first period. Cicerelli is on with Courtnall and Tucker. Painter back on the blue line with Kevin Hatcher. And they work against Peterson, who is on with Loney. Gilbert Delorme back with Dahlquist. The other forward for Pittsburgh is Randy Gillen. Here's Gillen with the puck. Drops it off. Dahlquist tries to bring it out. Tucker keeps the pressure on. Now Hatcher races in from the point. Back to the blue line for Cicerelli. It comes out of the zone, and Dino carries it back in. Offside is called.
Courtnall having words with Bill McCreary, saying he got his stick slashed out of his hands. Cicerelli did a nice job of backing up Kevin Hatcher as he went in to try and force the play. Cicerelli was there at the point, but just couldn't keep the puck in the zone.
Out-of-town goaltending tonight. Brian Hayward for Montreal against Chris Terreri for New Jersey. 3-0 for 2-1 score there. Montreal with the lead. Skrubland and Keane for the Canadiens. Huscroft for the Devils. Hanlon for Detroit against Berthiaume for Winnipeg. No score. St. Louis and Vancouver later on. Here's a whistle as we start play once again, and now Courtnall. A little bit of a push there for Troy Loney.
Loney, who's got his stick between Courtnall's legs, and Caps tried to work a little play there, get that draw back and send Johansson in, but Capitals couldn't keep themselves onside and prevented themselves a nice scoring opportunity in the final seconds. Now you just got 9 seconds left in the game, in the first period, and this face-off outside of the Penguin zone.
Hatcher skates up to play the wing side while Cicerelli is split wide to the right as they try to set up a final play of the period. But it's drawn back into Pittsburgh territory, and Barrasso flings it off the corner boards. And now it's shot right in front of the net as time runs out. 3 Pittsburgh goals scored by Phil Bourque, Tony Tanti, and Mario Lemieux have given the Pittsburgh a 3-0 stake in this game thus far, with the Penguins out shooting the Capitals 13-8 in the first period of action. More live exclusive hockey coverage comes your way after these messages right here on the Home Team Sports Television Network.